Hey everyone, so after asking a friend if they wanted a voiceover for this video and they said yes, I decided I'm gonna go for it and do a little bit of a voiceover. My voice is a little raspy. I woke up not that long ago and I haven't been speaking and I've been recording this over and over, but here is my dispatch screenshot edit. So first and foremost, ever since designing my dispatch character, I try to keep the art style and everything in mind when creating him, my OC Wayne, and so from the very beginning I used Robert as Wayne's base, essentially. So how do you make a screenshot edit, you might be asking yourself. So honestly, screenshot edits are really simple to make. All you have to do is take a screenshot from an already existing franchise and just put your character over it. Sounds easy, but of course there comes complications with trying to copy the art style and everything, especially when it comes to a show or a movie that is done in 3D. I've done 3D screenshot edits before. Those are a little more complicated as you have to have knowledge of painting. But with Dispatch specifically, since the game has a kind of line art, comic, drawn art style, it's pretty easy. I'm not doing anything really crazy or specific when it comes to this drawing. I'm honestly just moving lots of bits and pieces around. If you have a character that looks vastly different from like a character in the actual canon, this is gonna be a little bit harder, but what I would personally do is I would grab multiple screenshots and of other characters and use those as kind of like things to trace, I guess. I would overlay them and trace over them. With screenshot edits, genuinely do not be afraid of tracing. Tracing is going to be your best friend when it comes to these, as you are trying to copy a specific art style. If you're doing like an original piece, of course that's like a different thing, but it's an edit, like you can trace, it doesn't matter, as long as you are not claiming it's your own thing. One important thing when it comes to screenshot edits too is you have to match the original like lighting of whatever you're doing. With 2D stuff, it's usually going to be a lot easier as it's usually going to be like flat lighting. And with this dispatch screenshot, that was also the case, but in the next screenshot that I do, it's going to be a little bit more harder as there's clearly a sort of glow in the piece that is gonna make it just a little bit harder to make it fit into the original art style. This is a thing I would recommend doing, but I didn't do much of, is whenever you're working on your piece, have the original screenshot above everything else and just go flipping back and forth. As you can see here, I'm also changing the skin tone of Robert and adding some blush, as characters in Dispatch do have blush, and Robert's skin tone is just a little too dark for my character. And with that, it's pretty much done. Whenever I do screenshot edits, I usually export the drawing in a lower quality, as that removes the jagged, clean edges that your original screenshot most likely does not have. This screenshot edit took me way less time to do than the other one, mostly because in the first one I had a little bit of a break. But in this one, I just went for it, and I will say the things I did a little bit wrong. So, first of all, I could have just tracing everything, and I mean, again, the Dispatch art style is just like, it has line art, and so in theory this shouldn't be a problem, but what this caused is my character looking way sharper and missing certain flaws that the original art style did have. Another flaw that I did was not always considering the 3D of geometry of my character, so the ears probably could have been a little more forward, and the hair, yes. When it came to the hair, I was really focused on making it look like individual hair strands, because I noticed, like, for example, Vizzy, she's the character that I would use as inspiration for my own character's hair because she has that kind of like anime hair, and you can tell that there are like individual strands of hair tufts, and I tried to consider that when making my own character, but it kind of made it look really fake. It's really hard to explain. Also, my character's hair does not really look like it's actually on him. It kind of looks a little weird, a little flat, and a lot of it doesn't make sense for how it would be modeled on a 3D model. So just putting it out there so you guys don't make the same mistake as I do. Consider the 3D way more. Way more. I also didn't consider my character's eyes being a little bit bigger. I made it the same size as Robert's, and Robert's eyes are smaller. I also, as you can see, put a gray filter over my character and his colors, and I was filling in the background here, and I put like a glow and was trying to make it look like he was actually in the screenshot, and yeah. This screenshot, again, took me way less time, but again, it has some issues going with it. I could have probably blurred the line art a little bit more. I could have probably made it a little thicker in certain places. It just doesn't look like fully in the game. For some reason, I feel like the hands specifically look like they're in the game, but that's because they're a little too big. They're a little flawed. That's the thing I noticed with Mech Man's hands in the original screenshot too. They kind of just look kind of cartoony and weird, but that kind of is the wonders of making a screenshot edit. You kind of have to make it look a little derpy at times, just so it fits the art style of whatever you're making. Because you gotta remember, human art is not perfect, and when you try to make someone else's work look perfect, it's kind of gonna mess it up.